when it looks like they're starting.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see either of them set up for DSTA.
No, I did not see that either. So we're probably not going to see any DSTA movement from them in sand. Starting off here, we just have Cap. Cap is usually pretty standard. You don't see much out of the ordinary in Cap.
Right, yeah, obviously, we're looking for a clean Cap, obviously, hopefully.
Yeah. Looks like Tackleshift just took a slightly tighter line there, so getting a little bit ahead at the start. But it's not too big of a difference.
Right, and especially at this level, the lines and the movement are really oftentimes what makes the difference in their times.
Definitely. And even then, it's mostly just general movement. Lines usually don't become as important until sort of a bit of a higher level, but obviously if you're taking lines that are completely out of the way, that's a bit of a problem.
Definitely, yeah. Obviously, you want to have the shortest route going from point A to point B. Like when you plug in your GPS, you want to go somewhere. You want to take the fastest route there, obviously.
Definitely. Both going for right side. It looks like Tackleshift had a bit of an issue there with the angle and got a ledge grab on one of the hats. But yeah, this has been a pretty standard Cap. Nothing too major or anything.
What do you think we're going to see in Cascade?
Probably just, standard movement. DSS is definitely not going to be a thing at this level unless one of the runners is like actually insane and tries to go for it. But I'm sure we'll probably just see, standard dino skip. There may be a few differences in movement in terms of sort of lines and smaller optimizations, but there shouldn't be any major routing differences between the two.
And we're pretty much synced here. We're very close in times coming into Cascade Kingdom. Also, we do have a prediction running. Feel free to use your Coquette Gang channel points here to predict who you think is going to win. Will it be number 20, Rustic Meerkat, or will it be number 12, Tackleshift8? Do that now while you have the chance.
Tackleshift's starting movement was actually fairly clean. It looks like he did the double and the spin throw roll cancel, so those are two sort of smaller things, but ended up missing the moon, so I think it ended up being a bit more even.
Yeah, we're maybe like a half a second or a second difference in that bridge falling, so very close.
Yeah, usually the first few kingdoms aren't really where you see the biggest differences, obviously. Ooh, both going for the spin pound on the bridge. But yeah, it's normally at this level, end game is the determining factor, or mid game even. Metro can really, and Lost can really make or break runs. Ooh, looks like Meerkat is taking a bonk, getting up to the dino.
So Tackleshift had a pretty clean dino skip here. They got up pretty easily.
Same with Meerkat. And it looks like, I think they'll both be going for the fast strats in the Madam Brood fight. It's not exceedingly difficult, but it can be a little annoying sometimes.
Looks like Rustic Meerkat is having a little bit of trouble here with the Madam Brood fight.
Yeah, it looked like he was just a little close, because if you're a bit too close, your timing has to be a lot faster, and it's usually a lot harder to get the fast hit on the chain chomp. Getting at that time, a little bit of motion control confusion there, which can happen when you're shaking the controller to home a bit. So it looks like there's probably like a 20-30 second difference between them right now. Somewhere around there. Although it's still pretty early and we do have a lot of difficult kingdoms coming up, so it's obviously too close or too early to call.
Definitely, especially in this level with you have your more beginner level players. Anything can happen at any time.
Yeah. Some pretty clean movement to that last moon by Tackleshift. Same with Meerkat, so looks like the cascades were pretty similar minus the bonk on Dino Skip, but overall pretty decent cascades.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tackleshift had a little bit more of a clean cascade. They did get the fast strats on the Madame Brutal fight, and Rustic Meerkat did have a little bit of difficulty with that. So that's why we're seeing them ahead at this point, coming into Sand Kingdom.
Definitely. Sand is probably going to be a kingdom that can either make up time or lose a lot if players aren't playing very consistently or are sort of faltering in small bits, because there are areas like Jaxie Skip that can lose a lot of time if you die, so sand can be a little scary.
Right, and it'll be definitely interesting to see what kind of route we're seeing from these runners, because we're not going to see them go for DSTA, as neither of them set up for that. And there are a lot of different route opportunities here in Sand Kingdom.
Ooh, taking the wire over, you don't always see that, but that's always a pleasant surprise. It looks like both are going for the umbrella. It's a little slower than jumping from the fountain, but it's a fair bit easier.
They are getting those purple coins as well. We love to see those.
Yes. By the sombrero.
It looks like Meerkat was trying to go for the bird, but they missed it.
That they did. The bird can either be gotten after coming out of the pipe, or if we see Meerkat do Sphinx route, the bird could be grabbed in the oasis as well. So we'll see what... Ooh, employees only, it looks like. Interesting route. You don't normally see it, but it is a fast moon, probably as a replacement for the bird. That would be my guess, at least.
I'm not quite sure what kind of route they're doing here. Not sure if that was intentional or not, or if they're doing a backup.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a backup, probably.
We did not see Tackleshift here attempt the sand ram. They did not even try to set up for it.
Yeah, normally at this level you won't see it just because it's a fairly difficult strat, and if you're not getting it consistently, you're just losing time instead of saving it. So I don't expect to see Dram from Meerkat either.
Nope, they did not attempt it either.
Yeah, at this level it's not really worth it because it only saves a few seconds, and again, it's very difficult to do consistently. Ooh, looks like the geometry on those icicles can be a little annoying sometimes, so if you're not against that very flat part of it, you'll get a rainbow spin like that instead of a wall jump, which can be very annoying for sure.
Looks like we see Tackleshift here taking the Sphinx route as they're going up to the Sphinx right now.
Interesting, you don't always see Sphinx route anymore. It looks like Saren's a little excited for that one.
Yes, I commentated one of Saren's routes, and he did Sphinx route in his run, so...
Yeah, Sphinx has sort of become obsolete with hint arts becoming a thing, because you won't need as many coins for the late game when you can just get 100 in the early game, grab a hint art in Metro, and then you have enough for Snow. So it looks like we're not going to see a Sphinx route from Rustic Meerkat, which is probably why he went for the employees only back in town as a replacement for the bird. That was probably a smart backup. So the Sphinx route did lose tackle shift a small amount of time, so that could be a little bit of time that could be made up in sand by Meerkat.
Right, and we'll have to see, where their consistency lies and if they're able to, cleanly do this route without any significant mistakes.
And it looks like tackle shift did the spin throw Jaxie skip, which allows you, instead of doing a normal cap throw, to change direction and dive onto the Jaxie temple. You do a spin throw so that you can instantly open the chest without having to do an additional cap throw. So it saves a small amount of time, but it is a small optimization that you can do.
Alright, tackle shift here. Last moon in the Oasis, they did not need the Notes moon. And they are warping back to the Odyssey now.
Yes. Sphinx route, you usually skip Notes as the final moon, and then just warp straight to the Odyssey after that. Sphinx can be good as a backup, just in case you take a few deaths in certain places. It can be good to have extra coins, but you usually get enough for all the shot moons that you need throughout the route without having to do it. And it looks like tackle shift is going to sort of start in lake as Meerkat is globing for sand. So still a bit of a difference between them, mostly exacerbated by the bonk in Cascade by Meerkat, but
Right, yeah, that bonk leading up to Dino Skip did lose them, significant amount of time.
yeah, and it looked like they sort of faltered the backup a bit. That is sort of a surprising place to take a bonk, so it can take a little while to sort of process that.
And I'm guessing we're probably not going to see Lake Cliff at this level.
Definitely
only
not.
saves a few seconds.
Yeah, it's not nearly worth doing Lake Clip in this category at a low level, because you do have to have an extremely fast setup and then get the out of bounds movement, and it only saves a small amount of time. Ooh, triple jump from Meerkat. Misses it a little bit, but we do see slightly cleaner lines from Meerkat that we didn't quite see from tackle shift getting to the zipper, but again, that's sort of a small time difference.
Right, and those small time differences do add up over the course of the run.
Definitely. Looks like neither opted for the down throw. Sadly, they're probably not playing with Joy-Cons, which they should be. But
Rustic is. I saw a Joy-Con icon, so Pro-Con icon. Sorry, so they are playing with Pro-Con. Meerkat is. Looks like tackle shift here is having difficulty with the Rango fight.
Yeah, Rango can be sort of annoying sometimes if the hitboxes can be a little wonky, so you could be what you think is directly over Rango's head and just completely miss it and take damage. It looked like there was a bit of a chaos dive as well from Meerkat getting up to the platform. Probably
I saw that too. I thought he was going to go down.
Yeah,
but he didn't.
Fast
he saved it.
Reaction. Because you can sometimes get dropped inputs if the flower hits any of the mini Goombas, you can sometimes get dropped inputs there. And it looks like Meerkat's actually making up quite a bit of time in Lake from the fast Rango fight.
Agreed. Tackle Shift did not have the best Rango fight. They did mess up the fast strats, but Meerkat was able to get the fast strats, so that is going to be saving them some time.
Definitely. Tackle Shift is ahead by a bit still, but probably one of the harder kingdoms is coming up now, which is Wooded. a lot of things can go wrong in Wooded. If you're not doing the nut clip route, it isn't exceedingly difficult, but it is still not easy to move around in, and small mistakes can end up costing a lot more time.
Right, and I'm not expecting to see nut clip here, but, you know, I could be surprised.
Yeah. We might get like a gate skip or something, but that's the extent of what I would expect from a nut clip. Missing the bunny, not going for the backup where you grab the bunny with the rock right away after missing it, instead of just going straight for the rock and then backing around for the bunny.
Alright, Meerkat is also having some trouble with the rabbit here. They also did not grab a rock. So their route is a little bit different here.
Yeah, that is a slightly different route. It looks like still going for the bunny moon second. Yeah, just faltering a little bit, but it's not that major of a time loss, just a few seconds.
Did not look like Tackleshift attempted nut clip.
No, we did not see nut clip from Tackleshift, which is probably a good thing, because going for nut clip at this level can be kind of scary, and you don't really need the time save that much.
Alright, yeah. You know, we've seen some various different routes for Wooded throughout the races in this league, so we'll see what happens.
Wow, it looks like Tackleshift is doing Climb Wooded, actually, which is the older route that they used in like 2017, 2018, before they found out that warping from the top was actually a little faster. So that is another routing difference that could save Meerkat a little bit of time.
They may have watched a tutorial with that route in there, an older tutorial.
Yeah, the small ant tutorials do have a bit of an outdated route. They are still good, but yeah, the Tomshi tutorials are a little more updated. So it looks like Meerkat is going for the Warp Wooded, which is slightly faster and easier.
Yeah, we are getting some dropped inputs here on Meerkat's stream, but hopefully those will clear up.
Yeah, some frame drops. Hopefully the internet isn't dying or anything.
And I'm not expecting to see Flower Road skip, but again, I could be surprised.
Yeah, Flower Road skip is one of those tricks that has many ways of doing it with differences in difficulty, so... Ooh, oh, I thought Rustic Stream died for a second, but it looks like it was just the fade out for flooded pipes. It looks like we didn't see fast flooded pipes from either of the racers, as it is sort of difficult strat. You do have to make the cycle, and it can be fairly tight.
But luckily the cycle is consistent, so it will be the same every time. So if you do practice it enough, you can get it consistently.
Definitely. So yeah, it may seem like Tackleshift is a lot farther ahead, but that's just because he did the climb route, so he already got flooded pipes. But yeah, now we're seeing Meerkat getting the nut around the corner. So the difference isn't as great as it may have seemed a second ago.
Right, you know, with these route changes, route differences, it may be difficult to tell until we leave Wooded Kingdom what kind of comparison we're at right now.
Exactly. And another sort of difference in routing or strats that could come up soon is Cloud. If one of the players does fast hats and one does not, that could be a way that one player could make up time or pull ahead a little more than the other.
Agreed. And at this level, fast hats is possible depending on the person's consistency and their practice.
Yeah, it's definitely very sort of rhythm-based and spacing-based, so it's all about sort of the practice and the timing. Looks like Tackleshift had a pretty decent Spirit fight. Just sort of messed up the first hit a little bit, because Spirit hitboxes can kind of be annoying, but that was a pretty clean fight.
Right, yeah, they did take 1 damage at the beginning, but look, multi-moons are the only moons that don't give you a health refill, so that won't cost them in that acid.
True. It would have been... Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Lost the uproot.
I think maybe the camera might have been a factor there. I wasn't paying too much attention to that, but...
I'm not sure how it happened, but their uproot died, so... That moon on the very top is almost impossible to get without the uproot.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. I think Meerkat was going for the strat where you don't get up on the second platform, but it sort of fell apart a bit. That strat can be a little annoying sometimes. Probably just sort of missed the moon a bit.
So unfortunately, that is going to cost him a good chunk of time because he did have to wait for that uproot to respawn.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Meerkat finishing off the Spirit fight. It was a pretty good fight. Didn't really have too many problems.
That was for content. Thank you for clearing that up. Alright, Tackleshift did not attempt fast hats here with the first hat.
Yeah, the first fast hat can definitely be difficult because you do have to sort of start rolling before you can even see Mario. And then you have to time your cap throw when you're near Bowser fairly precisely. So it can be sort of difficult to get that one consistently without a lot of practice.
They also did not attempt the second fast hat, and they're not attempting it on the third phase here. So this is all going off of the intended strats. So if Meerkat does attempt fast hats and they're able to get it, that would be a way they're able to make up time.
Yeah, that's a fair amount of time, more than you would actually think. You know, Cloud is a very interesting kingdom because although it's short, there's sort of a lot of strategy packed into it very tightly that you can save small amounts of time that really add up each sort of cycle, such as fast hats and the Bowser manipulations.
Right, yeah. But obviously you don't want to go for a strategy that you're not consistent with, so if Meerkat does attempt it, hopefully they are consistent in it.
Definitely.
Alright, Tackleshift here did not have too much trouble with Meme Tree.
It looks like maybe Tackleshift was trying to go for cap return, but the cap seemed a little misplaced, and since he didn't home, he only got the single jump, but...
Made it work, no deaths, so...
Yeah, Lost is another kingdom.
Spoke too soon.
Ooh. Yeah, Lost is a kingdom that can definitely make or break runs because stuff like that can happen where you sort of just barely miss a platform or something and you fall into the poison soup that's all below you and you just instantly die.
That is unfortunate time lost for Tackleshift. rusticmeerkat did not attempt fast hats. So I'm guessing we're probably going to have pretty similar cloud times for the two.
Most likely. Tackleshift went for the spin pound off of the railing there.
Luckily for Tackleshift, though, they had their death early on, and they also did not get kleptoed.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
there definitely could have been a lot worse, as you could say.
You would think dying would be almost worse than getting kleptoed, just sort of thinking like intuitively if you don't really play the game much, just sort of hearing the differences. But getting kleptoed is actually very bad because you need Cappy to leave the kingdom, and so without Cappy, you're sort of just stuck there until you grab him back, and you have to sit through a bunch of cutscenes. So
Meerkat did not. They took a very safe strategy for Meme Tree. It was a little bit slower of a setup, but they did get it on the first attempt.
yeah, the cap return setup can be sort of difficult to do if you're not practiced with it. It can be a little scary. Tackle shift getting out from under the bridge, well.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Meerkat has been kleptoed. This is just what we were talking about.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't anticipating the platform to move right there, and it sort of fell right from under him right as he was about to triple jump, which is unfortunate. Let's see if he can back it up quickly. This is always a good thing to practice, just in case you do get kleptoed.
Right, most runners, if you're in their streams watching PB attempts, if they get kleptoed, pretty much an auto reset. But
Yeah.
in this situation, we're gonna look for a good backup here. But that is gonna cost them, maybe a minute.
Yeah, that's a fair amount of time lost because when you do get kleptoed, the game assumes you're back by the bridge as well. So you're not even where you were standing when you got Cappy stolen. You get warped straight back to the bridge.
Right, we see Tackle Shift here in the Night Metro Kingdom. Pretty clean movement so far. So
Okay, my
we're
stream
gonna
froze for a second, so I couldn't see what happened.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see Meerkat really pick up the pace here in order to snatch the W.
Yeah, Meerkat is almost done with Lost, though. These last few moons are shouldn't pose too much problem, bar the bridge one, I guess, because it can be a little stressful trying to get tightly under the bridge. The angle is a little weird, especially when you're doing the stone cage.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
Meerkat did take a death there trying to get the bridge moon. So that is going to cost them a little bit more time. Tackle Shift did have a little bit of trouble there in City Hall interior.
Yeah, City Hall can be...
It's an interesting jump they took there.
Looks like they were going around. That doesn't lose as much time as you would think, but it is a little slower than just doing the blind jump. Missing the checkpoint with the roll cancel, but
hopefully they don't die.
Not too big of a deal, can just back down. Yeah.
Tackle Shift here into the Mecha Wiggler fight. We're gonna look for some clean shooting and a nice pattern, hopefully. We're gonna want
like there's a little bit of difficulty with the first phase. Yeah. The first phase seemed a little, like there was a bit of difficulty. Sometimes the hitboxes are a little weird. So if Meerkat does have a good Wiggler, though, they could make up a fair amount of time, actually, since sort of the Wiggler's running cycle is thrown off, as well as as well as not having time loss from difficulties in the first phase.
Meerkat here is having a little bit less clean movement, having some bonks. They just fell off the canopy jump there, so that is, something we obviously have to take factor into.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, and it looks like Tackle Shift just missed the 2 cycle as well. So Meerkat can still make up quite a bit of time if he has a good mech fight.
Whenever people say mech, I always think of Mecha Brutal, not Mecha Wiggler.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of saying mech instead of mech wiggler. He gets the third cycle fairly quickly, so not losing too much time from that, or at least as much as he could have.
Meerkat here is going up the right side of the City Hall interior, which you don't see as often.
Yeah, you usually don't see it as often, but it can be just a little bit more secure.
Alright, Meerkat here is attempting the full blind jump, which they get.
The stream is freezing again. My internet hasn't been very happy today, so...
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Fly.
Let's hope I don't randomly disappear. If I do, it's because my internet died.
Noted. We see Tackle here doing the RC race. They are not doing a clip. They did have a fairly clean RC car, though, which is good.
Yeah, RC car can be sort of annoying to control. So...
Especially
a lot of
control
people
it even more in all moons, Sly.
Oh yeah. It looks like Meerkat had a little bit of a cleaner first cycle, so that is some time saved back from the mech fight.
We're gonna want a 2 cycle here. Pretty clean shooting so far. Oh no! They were not able to get those last 3 orbs, so we will be seeing a 3 cycle Mecha Wiggler from rusticmeerkat.
Yeah, that pattern was not very kind, and it looked like the last 3 sort of bubbles from the mech wiggler were just a little bit too high, and Meerkat wasn't far enough back so the tank couldn't aim up there. The RNG from the mech can be sort of hard to adjust to if you're not prepared for something like that. Again, a clean 3rd cycle though, so not losing too much time.
Tackleshift there did have a little bit of difficulty with some of their moons, and we're having a little bit of difficulty here climbing the tower.
Yeah, it seems so. The sort of timing for that, it can be sort of difficult to get used to, so if you're not, again, practiced in it, it can be easy to mess up, and even if you are, it can still be an easy place to lose a bit of time too.
And one thing to note, Tackleshift did not get the 2D hint art in the pool.
Most likely because he did go Sphinx route, so he wouldn't need the coins, and it would just be sort of a little bit of a waste of time to grab the hint art. But as Meerkat is entering Day Metro, Tackleshift is in People's Room grabbing the last few moons. Or no, it looks like he's doing Late Musicians, so I wasn't paying attention to the route that as much as
Yeah, we're used to seeing People's Room right at the end, but
yeah.
Here we do have a little bit of a different route. We'll be seeing what Meerkat's doing here pretty soon.
I believe he does do early musicians. So that is another sort of routing difference that can make up a small amount of time. Looks like he's having a little bit of difficulty capturing the little noodle. Ooh, and he fell down.
Alright, Tackleshift here is heading
And
out
there he
into the garden for their final 2
Yeah, it
moons.
seemed like Meerkat tried to skip the dialogue a little too quickly, and ended up jumping on the bench.
I see.
You can't put when you're trying to get that bench moon, you have to stand there and you can't touch anything on your controller. So if you do accidentally press something or move the camera, then Mario will just sort of stand there next to the guy and not sit down.
This is true. Our little bench friend is very finicky.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, Rustic Meerkat does appear to be doing the earlier musician's route.
Yeah, I'm sort of expecting him to grab the hint art in the pool as well, since he did not do the Sphinx route.
Okay. Yay!
Snow is coming up though, which can be another difficult kingdom if you're not careful. There are things like the Taifu room that you can sort of fall into poison and die and be reset to the beginning, and the cycle may be thrown off, and you can lose a fair amount of time from that.
So those blowy joeys just love to knock you into the instant death.
Definitely.
We do see Rustic Meerkat here missing the dive to the greater moon, so that is going to cost them a few seconds, but not significant time. Yeah, looking at Rustic Meerkat's coin count, they only have 37 coins, so if they're planning on buying the Snow Moon, they are going to need that 2D hint art.
Yeah, and I'm definitely fully expecting them to grab it, unless they like go seaside first or something to get coins instead. But ooh, looks like they sort of missed their movement a little bit to the next moon.
Yeah, it does appear that way.
I'm not quite sure what happened. I didn't quite see, but
Yep, and they did grab the hint art.
it looks like we're not going to see Snowdram from Tackleshift because we are
Darn.
seeing the early shop. But again, I don't really expect really anyone
Me neither.
in the freshman or sophomore tourneys to be doing Snowdram.
I did see one last night. When I was
Yeah.
commentating.
Cindy as well, I know she goes for Snowdram and has a 108. But
It
she's
was Marlon who
now.
went for it when I was
Marlon.
commentating.
Yeah, we did see Snowdram last match. Saren is correct. So Tackleshift about midway through snow as Meerkat is leaving Metro.
A little bit of spaghetti movement here. Climbing up to this moon.
It looked like he missed the cycle just slightly, and
oh no!
Ooh, yeah.
This is what you were talking about earlier. Sly mentioned earlier that if you dive into that purple poison, it's instant death and you go to the beginning. So this is going to cost them some time.
Definitely, and taking a little bit of damage on the spinies as well. This room can be sort of annoying because if you just like accidentally turn the camera, you might dive into the poison, and there's just a lot of things that can just end up going wrong in this room. And it looks like he'll be having the refill animation as well, the damage refill animation from grabbing this story moon, losing a few seconds.
Bob Loves Cheese, thank you for the raid. Welcome into the SMO Any Freshman League. We have Rustic Meerkat v Tackleshift going on right now. Hope you had a good stream.
It looks like Meerkat is going around to get into well. That's another strat that you sometimes see because taking the line that taking the line going over sort of that hump, the camera can sort of turn on you sometimes, and you can end up losing a bit of time to that.
Tackleshift here is taking that long jump a little bit safer and going into the farther away to have that jump be less close.
Yeah, it's never a bad idea, especially in a race setting, because the Goomba Room can kind of be a bit of a hex sometimes.
I've seen people bonk on absolutely nothing in that room.
Oh yeah.
So
that room likes to screw you over quite a bit sometimes.
Alright, we see Tackleshift here in the Rango room to get their final moon before leaving Snow Kingdom. You know, that death in the Typhoon room, we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it definitely lost a bit of time, so if Meerkat can sort of keep clean play through the Typhoon room, that could be a bit of time save. And it could make the difference in the race. A little bit of difficulty getting on top of that platform. That platform is sort of annoying to dive onto because it's so thin. So if you're not sort of properly spaced up the wall, it can give you a lot of problems. And it looks like Meerkat had a fairly clean Typhoon room, so that is a little bit of time made up.
I mean, these races can definitely come down to the end. You know, how the Mecha Brutal fight turns out can definitely be a major player.
Definitely. And even Seaside, there could be some time loss with sort of clipping back in bounds, taking a few fish bonks. Seaside as a kingdom, you usually don't see as many major mistakes. It's hard to lose large chunks of time to Seaside, but it's not necessarily out of the question because a lot of the smaller mistakes can definitely add up. I think we're going to see backflip. Oh, spin pound to get to the Gushin Moon.
We also got a bonk there.
Yeah.
Right now, we're gonna want to see, you know, just clean, consistent playing from Tackleshift in order to maintain their lead.
Yeah, definitely. If they just sort of play sort of simply and cleanly and don't make any major mistakes, they could definitely pull the win here with the lead.
Taking a little damage there on the sea bacon.
Yep, that is one of the sort of small things that can happen in Seaside that can lose you a bit of time, is taking damage on the sea bacon because you have to go through the little refill animation, and especially on this upcoming moon, because sometimes you'll sort of take damage, grab the moon, and then instantly take damage again. So that's already 4 seconds that you lose out of just thin air.
Yes, I call it sea bacon. I don't know if that's the proper term or not, but that's definitely what it looks like. So
I think they're called kombu, yeah.
well, sea bacon works for me, so everyone knows what I'm talking about anyway.
Definitely. A little bit of difficulty here with fish clip, it seems.
Are gonna miss that first attempt. They're gonna reset. I don't think they were back far enough.
Yeah, it looks like they're, even then, yeah, they're a little too close, because, again, you're sort of pushing the fish slightly out of bounds, and if you don't get far enough back, you don't reset the boundary, and so the fish can't sort of push back it. back through the boundary, and you just sort of get pushed back in bounds.
They did get it on the third try there, so that is potential for Rustic Meerkat.
Definitely.
And they also had a little bit of difficulty getting the physical moon itself.
Yeah, that's definitely a scary moon if you don't... if you get a little disoriented from the out of bounds, or you don't obviously sort of practice the movement a lot, it can be a little scary to get that moon without clipping back in bounds. So a lot of people tend to take their time with it instead of just beelining it straight to the moon and shake right when you're near it. Ooh, it looks like Meerkat took a bonk getting up there. That is sort of a difficult area to get on top of.
Yep, the intended way to get that moon is actually with a Gushing.
Yeah, but
That's
with
why
some...
the water is there.
Yeah, as sort of a refill. But if you do sort of do a bit of precise platforming like that, you can get into the room without the need of a Gushing. And a bit of trouble here capturing the fish from Meerkat as well.
Alright, Tackleshift here in Luncheon Kingdom.
Going for the triple off the sort of sidebar here.
Did take a little time to set up, but they were able to get it.
Yeah, it's always better to take a little bit of time to set something up if you're not comfortable just going straight for it. Falling off the top there, that doesn't lose too much time, but it just sort of messes up the line a little bit.
Okay, into the Spirit fight. Are taking damage in the first phase.
Yeah, Spirit, again, the hitboxes are very finicky, so they can be kind of difficult sometimes. The race is definitely not over, though, because Luncheon is a difficult kingdom. There are a lot of places where things can go very wrong, and then not to mention the entirety of Bowser's as well, so... We'll have to see how this plays out.
Alright, Rustic Meerkat is able to get Fish Clip on the first try compared to third through Tackle Shift, so that is going to save them some time.
Definitely, and getting
much
the moon
cleaner
a lot
movement.
quicker. Not boosting, taking it a little bit safer, but it was a good choice because they did get the moon first try and didn't clip back in bounds, so... they made up a small amount of time there as well. Ooh, going up top instead of down below to get to the next moon. That's definitely a thing that happens sometimes, but you don't usually see it as often at this level.
It seemed to work okay for them. They didn't fall off or anything, so...
Yeah, it should be about the same amount of time as Forks. Maybe a little faster if you roll boost up the slopes, but... yeah, it's sort of a matter of preference more than anything. At least at this level.
Alright, we got Rustic Meerkat here in Luncheon Kingdom.
Going for the same setup as Tackle Shift to get on top of the Salt Pile Moon. Tackle Shift going around the pot there, a smart choice if you have if you've had bad experiences trying to backflip over it and then you fall in the pot instead of going over it. Oh!
Ah! Tackle Shift definitely scaring me with that movement there.
Yeah, that was a little scary. They just barely made it onto that platform. It looked like they were angled a little far to the left and they didn't realize it, so when they rolled off, they ended up careening right into the lava instead of towards the island. It's time for forks, a very motion control heavy room.
And a bop.
Definitely. Meerkat seemed to have no problems with the spirit fight. So far, this is a fairly clean luncheon from Tackleshift. No major mistakes or anything. Minus that sort of terrifying movement.
Yes. That could have been much worse.
Yes, that could have definitely been a lot worse. Opting to go for the safer Podoboo strats, which is probably smart because the other ones are kind of annoying to do consistently. It can sort of feel like a mystery at first when you don't really understand what's happening mechanically, because it's sort of confusing how Podoboos work sometimes. Looks like both Meerkat and Tackleshift went up on top of the rocks, I guess you could call them.
Yeah, I guess, hard candy, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Pepto-Bismol and hard candy. That's Luncheon Kingdom.
There's turnips everywhere.
Yeah, it would probably smell delicious, but sort of confused. It doesn't look very appetizing sometimes,
I don't know, Sly, would you like to visit Luncheon Kingdom?
Probably. I don't know. It would probably be cool. There's lots of good eats. At least when Cookatiel's not there, stealing everything.
True. Well in peace, I should say.
Yes.
Well in peace.
Tackleshift may have a few problems with the Spiny here. Ooh, just narrowly avoiding Spiny. Opting to go around to get the surrounded moon, which is a good choice. A lot safer.
Alright. Rustic Meerkat also, they had to do a rainbow spin in order to make that cap dive. They also were pretty close, falling into the Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, definitely. Meerkat entering forks now, as Tackleshift
They did
is
take
grabbing
that
them
very
over.
lower fork too, which you don't often see. You oftentimes see people skip that fork on the left.
Yeah, I do. I do see some people going for that fork, but often you'll just see people going straight for the higher fork with an homing up throw. It is slightly faster as well.
Alright, Tackleshift here, exiting Luncheon, heading to Ruined. Ruined is typically a kingdom where you don't really see lead changes unless there's a death, of course, but that's not very common.
Yeah. And you can definitely lose time in Ruined as well if you're not careful with sort of taking a bonk on the starting movement or not having sort of optimal sword pulls from the dragon. You can lose a small amounts of time that sort of add up.
As long as Tackleshift has, a deathless Ruined with, not missing a cycle or anything, they should be fine.
Yeah. It looks like Meerkat had some really terrible cheese RNG.
Isn't that weird, having bad cheese RNG when you have two Wisconsinites commentating? You think your cheese RNG would be
Yeah.
good.
Maybe we took all the cheese energy.
Maybe. You never know. Cheese RNG refers to that, pan bro, the way that they throw the pans is kind of RNG, and the way that they hit things can be...
Yeah, it's mostly RNG. It definitely feels like RNG at least. There is a bit of skill to it, but you can definitely be standing sort of directly next to something and throwing, but just literally not hit anything.
We did see Tackleshift free the 2D Captain Toad. in the Ruined Dragon fight, which is not required. You don't need the coins in this category, but people do it anyway.
It definitely is required.
I don't know, Sly. It's not in the rules on SRC, so...
I think they're adding that soon, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Not heard that.
Yeah, Meerkat had a clean rest of luncheon. Just has to grab the final multi-moon.
And those multi-moons giving you a free warp back to the Odyssey, so obviously optimal to do at the end.
The routing for each kingdom is actually very nice, because over time, since the game's been out so long, they've sort of optimized it more and more, and you just take really nice lines and like usually circle around a kingdom, and then just sort of grab each quick moon along the way.
And we saw
Got a lot of lagging.
Yes, it appears so. We had Tackleshift having a pretty cleaned, ruined fight. Nothing notable about it.
Yeah, Ruined is generally a very clean kingdom. You don't have any major time losses unless you sort of take a death or something in the dragon fight, but that's generally not something that happens with the refill hearts and everything. It's not very difficult.
Yeah, so
Casually, the boss can be intimidating, but it's not as hard as it seems.
Well, Nintendo spent a lot of graphics money to make this dragon look very intimidating.
Definitely.
So... Alright, Tackleshift, he has come into Bowser's Kingdom. We'll have to see what kind of route he takes. Will he go for the Pokéodram or crates? Alright, looks like we are going to see the Pokéodram here.
It does indeed look like it.
And they did get it.
We got the Burb Dram. Any
Yes.
Burbs in the
Burbs.
chat? Burb.
Burp. So then we will not be seeing crates from them.
I mean, we may see crates, but it's very unlikely. A little bit of difficulty there with the ogre. Lost a very slight amount of time because the ogre did have to walk sideways. Meerkat had a little bit of difficulty there as well with the ground pound there on the dragon's head, which can happen sometimes. That is one of the other areas where you can lose a small amount of time in Ruined.
As long as you don't miss the cycle, though, it's not gonna lose you a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Alright, Tackleshift here into Shards movement. This is also pretty important, how you do your shards.
Yeah, shards can be a bit of a meltdown sometimes, for sure. And we are seeing missed the dive back on the second shard and took a little bit of damage from the spinies. Shards is probably the most difficult section of the game, to be honest. It's just sort of very awkward platforming that you have to try and do as fast as possible.
Right, oh,
So-
we see Tackleshift here on 1 health with spinies and bombs, so hopefully they're able to get back to the heart without dying.
Yeah, I think he was trying to go for a dive back, but he didn't turn Mario around fast enough. And so he ended up diving into the bomb as one spawned and then took a bit of damage.
Right, and we have people in chat talking about, what's crate, what's faster, crates, or Pokéodram. At this level, it's not really about what's theoretically faster in BTT or anything. It's about what these players are able to do consistently.
Yeah, most of your time save at a level like this, you're really just trying to run through the route and have as few mistakes and as clean movement as possible. Because if you're going for crates, yeah, it might be faster, but that's only really if you're doing blind jump. And blind jump is really terrifying at this level. So, ooh.
Tackle shift here on team topper first.
Invalidating the run by going topper first. You hate to see it. You really do. You hate to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I am also on Team Harriet first, so... but they are having a bit of trouble here with the topper fight, not able to get those clean segments off.
Yeah, topper is definitely difficult boss. All those hats and the sort of in-between stages, it can be very, very easy to sort of just slightly miss time your jump on top of the hat, and then everything sort of goes awry.
Tackle shift here also did not do the most optimal strat here. They actually let the bomb go on the floor before hitting it back. You can hit it out of the air. So
Both are strats that you can do. You normally see people hitting it out of the air because it is slightly faster, but both are completely valid strats.
it definitely works, but it is a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's... I'd say if it's more consistent, it's probably a little better to go for anyways.
Alright, we see Rustic Meerkat here actually using the Pokio to get that third shard, which is an interesting strat.
Yeah, I do see people do that sometimes. That is, I think, a bit older shards movement, but it definitely still works.
We actually see Rustic Meerkat here going for the Glory Hole Moon. So,
Yes.
that's probably going to replace crates for them.
He did skip Burb Dram, so has to go for either Glory Hole or crates, and it seems he opted for Glory Hole. And then grabbing the last shard.
And Tackle did do the Burb Dram, so they're going to skip over this crates moon here and head up into the Mecha Brutal fight, which can really be a game changer.
Definitely. You can lose large chunks of time in mech. It usually isn't anything too major, but if you fall off multiple times or something, you can lose exorbitant amounts of time.
So as long as Tackle has a clean mech fight, not falling off, able to get up pretty quickly.
Ooh, looks like going on a little bit of a different climb, but that also still works. Normally you see people go up sort of the center left side, but...
We actually see both runners here team Topper first, Rustic Meerkat going for Topper.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. You really do hate to see it.
Right,
You know,
Tackle
Harriet,
Shift
it's better.
here is doing the bird method, and they did take 1 damage getting the bird. So we're gonna have to be careful here.
Just a bit of difficulty capturing the bird there. Normally damage isn't too big of a deal with mech unless you fall off, because in the later stages the mech will spawn those sort of spinning pinwheels on the ground, and those can be very, very difficult to deal with and not take damage.
Okay, Rustic Meerkat here into the Harriet fight. They are also hitting the bombs off the ground and not mid-air, similar to Tackle Shift.
That was a little scary there. A Tackle Shift bonked on the Harriet bubble as the mech was starting to run. That could have gone bad, because sometimes mech physics just launches you across the whole arena, but luckily it didn't go that bad.
Ooh, we do see Tackle Shift here falling off the mech on 1 health. This is definitely a Monka-esque situation.
Yeah. Luckily, when the mech is walking, it usually destroys a lot of those pinwheels. Grabbing a heart, which is definitely a safe choice because he just took damage, so that was
if they didn't have
definitely a
gotten
good
the heart,
plan.
they would have died.
Yeah, that was a very, very smart idea from Tackleshift.
Alright, luckily they were able to get through mech without dying, but they were very close to dying at that point. Tackleshift himself just typed in the chat that they've never done that before.
Yeah, mech can always surprise you, and just strange things that have never really happened to you can just sort of pop out of nowhere and happen, so...
Okay, Tackleshift still does have a significant lead.
Yeah. Tackleshift is grabbing the mech moon as Meerkat is in the beginning of the climb to mech. Opting for a little bit of a safer route there, which is always smart because jumping across that gap can definitely be scary. Even if it's not blind jump, you can still easily make a mistake.
Alright, Rustic Meerkat is having a little bit of difficulty here climbing this wall with the Pokio.
Yeah, it looks like they're... Ooh. Yeah, they might just be having, like, small input errors that sort of are messing them up. If you're holding the wrong direction with the Pokio, sometimes it can definitely send you in directions that you're not anticipating, and you can miss the wall, and things can just go a bit awry on the climb there.
Right, Rustic Meerkat here into the mech fight. They are also using the bird strategy. Tackleshift is now in Moon Kingdom. So, as long as they have a clean Moon Kingdom, they are likely to win. But that is contingent on not dying.
It is probable that Tackleshift takes this, but really anything can happen. Moon can just surprise you sometimes with how ridiculous it gets.
Rustic Meerkat was in a little scary position there on the mech. They were on one of those side platforms, not on top. So it is a little bit of a scarier place to be.
Yeah, that was a little scary. Ooh, this is a little terrifying too, facing towards the bunny ears, but they managed to make it on top. Sometimes if you're on the same face as the bunny ears and you're trying to get back on, once the mech starts running, you'll hit right into the bunny ears, bonk, and just get sent across the arena. But luckily that did not happen to Meerkat.
Alright, Tackleshift did get a first try Moon Cave skip.
That's always good. Meerkat having a little bit of difficulties there with the third bubble. That is the hardest bubble, unless you're doing target acquired.
I don't know if I'm gonna have the height. Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah, it might have been a little safer to land on the bottom platform and sort of backflip up on top of the mech, but a lot of the beginner tutorial, or at least Small Ants tutorial, talks about sort of doing the rainbow spin to get back onto the mech, but you can't actually land on those lower platforms, and I actually find that quite a bit easier.
Rustic Meerkat, unfortunately, falling off the mech, having difficulty getting back on. This is unfortunate for him.
Yeah, but it is the last bubble, so able to get it quickly with the burb.
Right, Tackleshift here did not do fast hats with the Bowser.
Yeah, we didn't see it in Cloud, so I'm not expecting to see it in Moon either. Tackleshift does have quite a bit of a lead, though, at this point, so unless there are some strange sort of game things happening, which pillars can be a bit of a hex, so you never quite know what can happen.
I would expect more something in the 2D section rather than pillars.
2D can definitely 2D can be difficult as well. You sometimes get input drops. Ooh, Tackleshift having a bit of a mistiming or misdirection with the cap throw there. Missing the final hat, but getting it again on this second try.
Alright, Tackleshift now capturing Bowser, heading into the escape sequence, while Rustic Meerkat is just leaving Bowser's Kingdom.
Yeah, so Tackleshift is very nearly done with Moon Kingdom. I don't think this could be B. I was thinking about it for a second, but
I was thinking about it in Bowser's, but it seemed like it was a little off.
Yeah.
So I would say it's unlikely to PB.
Yeah, you'd have to have like a really, really, really fast pillars, which is like a lot to ask from someone even at like 50 pillars, Martin said. That's probably not going to happen. Pillars is a very difficult section.
PBs in races are less common and they're not really expected. Most runners do not expect to PB in races.
PBs in races are definitely a lot more common at this level though. In the Plan B league, you're probably not going to see anyone PBing in a race, minus maybe CMFP. That nearly happened earlier today.
That's true, yeah.
But most people are not going to be PBing in a race. Yeah, CMFP, though, did come back to the game and sort of is de-resting, so...
Alright, Tackleshift here into the Pillars room. They did have a clean 2D section.
Get your cat jams for Pillars.
Definite. Rustic Meerkat, unfortunately, did have some trouble here with Mooncave Skip. That's the second failed Mooncave Skip attempt.
It can be a little finicky. It looks like he's a little too far to the right, so he's not hitting the right section of the wall. Again, that might be too far to the right. Okay, that just worked.
Tackleshift here looking most likely around a 113.
Yeah, that's what it's looking, or this is probably going to be like a 1250, like a 12 5x.
Very high 12 5x.
Yeah, so I guess, nearly a 13.
112.57 from Tackleshift8 here in the race. Only 20 seconds off of their personal best, so big GG's to him.
That is pretty good play. Playing within even a minute of your PB is generally considered very good and fairly consistent, so...
So we have Tackleshift here taking the win over Rustic Meerkat.
Yeah, both players played fairly well, but there were just a few extra mistakes from Meerkat that sort of put him a little bit further behind Tackleshift, and they just sort of added up. And then Tackleshift just sort of pulled ahead with even the early advantage and played consistently and ended up winning the race. But it was still a good race between both the players. GG's to both of you for...
Definite GG's. We'll see what Rustic Meerkat here ends up with.
Definitely. Finishing matches is always good to see as well.
You don't want to do an interview, Tackle? Okay. Why don't you just tell us about how you're feeling about your run? How do you feel?
Yeah. How do you feel about winning as well? That's kind of hype. Always.
Definite. You know, we always love to see gamers take the W.
Meerkat entering the escape section.
Good for a race. Agreed. I mean, you're only 20 seconds off of your PB. So.
Yeah, this is actually very close to PB. You did have like a few sort of mistakes here and there, but overall it was pretty good. Obviously, when you're a bit newer to the game, you're going to be making a lot of mistakes. That's just sort of how it goes when you're not like when you don't have 5,000 hours into a game or something ridiculous like that.
Right. Alright, Rustic Meerkat here in the 2D section, finishing out their race. They are not doing 2D skip.
Yeah, there definitely were quite a few big mistakes. The early game was very, very clean. So that was good. Yeah, no 2D skip from Meerkat though.
Yeah, the 3-cycle wiggler was unfortunate. But how do you feel about taking the win? Alright, Rustic Meerkat here, heading into the escape sequence, finishing out the run.
More pillars. I'll put another cat jam in chat just because you have to cat jam for pillars. It's legally obligated.
Agreed. Alright, Rustic Meerkat looking likely to get around the 117 here.
Ooh, that was a clean first pillar, actually. I wish I could get the first pillar that good. I always miss all my shots.
Yeah, those falling debris can eat your fireballs pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely. Heading on to the last pillar now, about to end around low 317. A low 117. This isn't darker side.
Sarah, the timer you have on Meerkat screen is about 10 seconds off the regular timer. Is that accurate?
I'm guessing that's probably the more accurate timer.
Alright, well, the timer on Meerkat's screen is a 1:16.59. GG's to them.
Yeah, those were good pillars. I'm kind of jealous.
Accurate? Okay. Alright, Meerkat, do we have you for a post-game interview?
Well, that was something.
We'll see if we can get... Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you feeling?
That was interesting for sure. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was kind of just like, we were kind of same in the beginning, maybe the first two, and then I think I just made a bunch of mistakes and he didn't, and that was pretty much the difference. Like, I don't know if he made, like, Tackle made any major mistakes, but I can name, like, at least a few I made, like 3-cycle, getting clept out, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Tackle also did get a 3-cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah. Still, congratulations on this run. Barely getting the 116 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just barely. Actually, like, you know, the run was like, even though it wasn't like really good pace, like I did get a couple of goals in snow in lake and in luncheon, so I can't be too unhappy about it. I think at the end of the day, it was just like, you know, obviously it was like the better player, so I was kind of banking on the fact he would make some major mistakes so that I could catch up, but he still got like a 112, so I would have had to PB to beat him, which is would have been pretty hard to do, I think. So overall, I'm okay with the result. I think it's not like unexpected or anything.
Do you think it was like a lot of mentality that sort of hurt you?
Yeah, there's a little bit of nerves, I guess, and then it's just like a little frustration when like certain things happen. But
yeah,
I mean, it happens.
When the bonk on Dino Skip, I know that would probably annoy me quite a bit. Something so early game. That would. Yeah. That's an easy thing.
Kind of came up to Matt's start a little bit, and then just kind of. I think like I don't know. I'm still happy like how I was able to kind of salvage it, and because it could have been like, this has happened to me, but like it could have gone like a lot worse. It could have been like a 120 or something. So I think I still like managed to push through and finish it at least, which is still like surprising to me.
Yeah, you definitely played well. I know a lot of people, like the nerves of a race and like especially making mistakes, things can definitely fall apart very quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Any final words you want to give to the chat or to Tackleshift?
Well, GG to Tackleshift, of course. Well deserved, and I just want to apologize to I think Marlon, who might have bet his channel points on me, and anyone else. I'm sorry. But otherwise, yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Big congrats to both players. Make sure to give them both a follow. Check them out. And also, thanks to our host here at Cool Cat Gang. Drop a follow, join the Discord, subscribe with Twitch Prime. You know the drill.
Yes, support the Cool Cat Gang. There's some pretty cool cats.
All right, Saren, we'll hand it over to you.